phenomenal. Yarrow in Florida, you're up.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, Charlie. Absolute pleasure to have you and all of the insights and wisdom you've shared. I have all kinds of thoughts on the chapters of your life. I'll connect with you to talk more about water.org because that's a whole nother piece of my life. But my brother-in-law struggles with addiction. Recently had a venture down a pretty dark, wondering if we're going to come out of it space. Has gratefully. So obviously what you spoke about resonates a lot. I'm not going to say that I don't have any addictive aspects to my life, but it's not something that I personally have struggled with. And so I'm sympathetic. I don't have the personal experience with it, but I imagine that the road to recovery has all kinds of challenges. And you shared 3 years of intentional healing and running. Just now, to Mark's question, the meditation and getting control of your own headspace. I was just curious if there's any other insight that you can share early in that recovery process when your behaviors were having to be changed. There was any other wisdom that you could share of how to just keep a hold of that for the desired outcome versus the, I don't want to say comfort, but the comfort of something that you are used to in that behavior change process.
No, it's a great question. Thank you for that, Yarrow. And I'm sorry to hear about your brother-in-law, but actually it's, if he can get on top of it and use it as a, as a superpower, it's a really, it's an amazing thing. I think early on in my sobriety, and it's complicated when you're, obviously there's family, you got family involved, you got whatever. And look, people want the person, the addict, to change, but they don't recognize always what that means. And what I mean by that is I had people in my life who loved me very much, who were absolute cheerleaders for me, coming to me, telling me, oh, you don't need to quit, Charlie. You just need to cut back. You just need to get this under control. And I was baffled. And what I'm getting at is it took me a while to understand that those folks, it wasn't about me, it was about them. They were concerned about how my sobriety was going to change their life. Because you can be in a marriage where both people drink, but only one is a problem drinker. Well, when that problem drinker all of a sudden stops drinking, what does the other person do? Do they quit? It affects other people's lives. And very often you'll find that people, like you're on a rope, they're trying to pull you back into the abyss, not because they don't care about you, but because they care more about themselves. And my drinking buddies, I had 6 guys that I hung out with that I did a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs with. And 3 of them are sober today, but I had to let them come to me. And it's what we call, this is the greatest lesson I learned early on in recovery. It's attraction rather than promotion. You can't, I wanted to run into the bars and pull out my buddies and tell them about this great new life that I had found. And they told me basically just to piss off and mind my own business because they weren't ready. Years later, one at a time, they came to me and they were ready. And today there's, 2 of them are dead. 2 of the 6 are dead. 1 is still drinking and the other 3 are sober now. But that's, I think the biggest lesson I learned early on, and it's not relevant or might be relevant to your family, is don't be an anchor, and that guy, your brother-in-law, he needs to unhook whatever anchors he's got. Hopefully they're not family members, but if there's other people in his life that are crutches and that are pulling him back into the abyss, you just got to let all those people go. I've gotten back in touch with friends from all those years ago, but I needed 5 or 10 years of sobriety under my belt before I was ready to reestablish those friendships.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think the anchors of the mind are at play, but say la vie.
This is the time to be selfish. You know, people think of the word selfish as a negative thing. Everybody on here, you got to be, if you're not taking care of yourself first, you can't possibly be of service to other people. Like self-care, very often ignoring self-care is just a method of hiding from yourself. You're so busy helping other people, you look great and you're helping a whole lot of people, but right here, that person ends up being empty, and the only way that they get good feelings is if they're doing something else out here. Eventually, we're all alone. We all have to learn how to sit with ourselves and be comfortable with that.
For sure. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Stay